The Lord's Prayer isn't talked about much online. I want it played before every episode, and I'm not forcing any religion on anyone. Thank you, God. And now here's my mom and saying the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
This is Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon. Join Waylon as he interviews people around the world with a variety of topics surrounding everyday struggles and bringing trustworthy communication to his guest. It's time we have more positivity and kindness in the world. He has had family, friends, actors, fitness experts, and the legendary ring announcer of WWE, Lillian Garcia. He can't wait to bring more inspiring episodes your way. Welcome to Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon.
Welcome, everyone, to the 56th episode of Standing Strong. I'm so excited for this opportunity of interviewing my next guest, Toni Torres. I hope you all enjoy this episode, and remember to never give up on yourself. And now here's Steve for the introduction of Toni Torres.
Toni Torres is best known for her role as campaign manager Elena Morales on Amazon's Golden Globe-winning series Goliath, starring Billy Bob Thornton. Her other acting credits include roles on the hit shows such as Grey's Anatomy, Mad Men, Criminal Minds, Lopez, and a 3-episode arc as Detective Felipe on How to Get Away with Murder. In 2007, Toni played a female soldier on ABC's hit series Brothers and Sisters. In real life, Toni is a veteran who served as an intensive care medic in the United States Air Force from 1997 to 2001. Her first big break came when Oscar-winning actor Tim Robbins cast Toni in the role of June in a military play called Embedded, which toured Off-Broadway in London and across the United States. Toni is an advanced member of the Playhouse West Meisner Program. In addition, she's been a stand-up comic since 2010. She is also known from the Dhar Mann YouTube series. This talented actress is an inspiration and is changing the lives of others. It's Waylon's pleasure to welcome Toni Torres on Standing Strong.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Standing Strong. Thank you so much, Steve, for the introduction. At this time, please welcome on Standing Strong, Toni Torres. What's up, Toni?
Hi, how are you?
I am doing all right. So, how was your holidays?
It was good. I spent some time with some friends and family, my daughter, my favorite person. And yeah, I've had a good time. How was yours?
Mine was okay. And by the way, Happy New Year's.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you so much. Now, at this time, I'm going to ask you the very first question.
Okay.
What do you like most about being an actress?
That's a good question. I think I like getting to I like getting to like try on a lot of different lives, a lot of different realities. And I really appreciate being able to like have my voice or my interpretation to things out in the world. I think that we all sort of like pick and choose. Mostly we pick and choose from like choices that we've seen, like how I'm dealing or how my dad deals with things, or how like a big show for me when I was a kid was like Growing Pains, like how their dad would deal with things. And like I like being an option out in the world for people to choose from. I like to make brave choices and hope that people have that as an option.
Amazing. I love that. Did you know from a young age that acting was what you wanted to do?
Yes and no. I grew up in a really like hard neighborhood, a lot of poverty, a lot of hard times. So there wasn't a lot of opportunities for arts or acting or music or anything like that. So I don't think I really knew how to dream that way as a kid, but
Mm-hmm.
I used to like interview myself in the shower. I think it was a way of like coping with the hard times and like feeling heard and seen. And it was just this strange thing I did from like when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I was always kind of like extra and big and like super expressive, even though maybe being quieter would have probably helped me survive a rough childhood. But instead, I was kind of like big and expressive and dramatic. And so, like, I don't think I knew I was going to be an actor, but somewhere deep inside me, like my higher self knew I was.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to be an actor?
I think that if you want to be an actor, I think like the number one thing to like to focus on is investment.
Mm-hmm.
Every dollar you spend is a dollar taking away from your future. Like you're gonna have to outlast a lot of people who have privilege, a lot of people who are lucky, right place, right time, a lot of people who have help. And if you want to like last long enough, sorry, there's a car going by.
No, you're fine.
If you want to last long enough to sort of like get a place in the game, you gotta have staying power. And in order to do that, you can't spend all your money on like having fancy things and proving things to people and trying to seem like showing off, or however you would put that. You have to make sure that every dollar you spend is helping you stay in the game long term, right?
Absolutely.
I was a single mom. I couldn't afford to take every single interview, like every single acting class I could find on the internet. Every single thing I could find 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And when I finally went to acting class, like a decade into my career, like I had already the basics in my body and just used it as an opportunity to like play with others and be there a short amount of time and get the most out of it, more bang for my buck. But I think like investing in yourself, your future, investing in people who are like-minded, who also care about the same things you do, who don't take more than they give. Mm-hmm. So that a sort of like nutritious environment that you're in. Yeah, those are the things that I would pass on.
Awesome. Great advice. What was it like being in the Air Force as an intensive care medic?
It was intense. We worked in a VA hospital when I was in the Air Force. And so it was a lot of veterans who from the Korean War, the Vietnam War, just from the last 80 years of service. So it was a lot to see life and death and care for people who had a hard time so early on in life. I think it put things into perspective, what matters.
Yeah.
It was hard but educating.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Any encouragement for anyone who might want to follow in the same path as you did in the Air Force?
I very pro peace. I think that a lot of states have free junior college and Pell Grants, and if you can find a way to go to school and support an industry that is life focused, mm-hmm. that would be my first advice. I would never shame anyone who had no other choice or just was so committed to serving their country. their body, their choice. But I would put encouragement towards following your dreams that could maybe be creative, fun, encouraging, life affirming, before the military. I'm sorry. I know that's not a very common response. I know it's not looked highly upon to maybe say, but I don't think 18-year-old kids should be taking on that responsibility. I think that should be something that should come. I think the military strategy should come after a master's degree in strategy and economics and world affairs. And yeah.
I agree with you. Now, on to the next question. You played a solo on ABC's hit series, Brothers and Sisters. Explain what that was like for you.
It was my first television job, so it was really exciting. And I played a disabled vet, which I am a disabled vet. So that is a portion of the military that I only find worthy of exposure and care. So it was a really great experience. It was a great show. It was a really thoughtful show. It was a thoughtful episode. The other soldiers that I worked with were wonderful. Yeah, that's how I got my start.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. How do you manage your actor's career struggles with your personal life issues?
I always prioritize my mental health first. So I take jobs that I can emotionally and mentally have space for. If I need time away, if I need to take a break from the industry, I give myself that opportunity because I think I operate at my most talented self when I'm healed and rested and taking care of myself. I have always tried to, whenever I maybe my career was at a lull and I wasn't doing as much as an actor as I would like to, I always try to take careers that were like lateral with acting. So I did camera work, I did casting work, I did extra work, I did crew work, I did anything I could do to learn a little bit more about the industry from a different point of view so that I could hop back in if the opportunity arose. So I never fully quit. I just sort of sidestepped for a little bit. And I've always sort of done that whenever it seemed like I was worn out. I've always given myself the opportunity to take a break and deal with myself at the most priority.
Right. Absolutely. Speaking of the next question, during your role as June in Abandon, how was it like being in London upon of it?
It was amazing. I had never traveled out of the country before. My daughter was 2 years old, and the production paid for a nanny, so I got to show my daughter the world. It was just after I'd gotten out of the military. I'd never expected to land on something like that. Mm-hmm. We were doing a show that showed some of the unfairnesses of the concept of soldiers being embedded with reporters. And the London crowd was so supportive and so educated, and they stayed after the show almost every night. The theater that we were operating out of was called Riverside Studios, and there's like 4 or 5 theaters in there, and there's this sort of lobby area, this meeting area, and it's like a cultural thing for actors after a show to like stay behind and talk to their audience. It's sort of like what is socially accepted there. And so we would sit around after the show for an hour having conversations and answering questions and getting to know the community and discussing all the topics in the play. It was really great. It was really great.
Nice. I like that. All right, everyone. At this time, we will be right back with Standing Strong after this break.
We will be right back with Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon after this break.
Thank you so much for making it this far into the episode and for all the love and support. I'm able to have trustworthy communication with my guests and give them the opportunity to ask me questions.
Check out some incredible podcasts that Waylon suggests, and the links will be in the description box. Culture Shocked, a podcast based on gaming, movies, and TV shows. It's a one-of-a-kind podcast. Tyler's Takedowns, a wrestling podcast on the SJP World Media Network that discusses classic and modern-day professional wrestling. God TV, an amazing podcast run by SoCal Val, Lisa Marie Varon, and Mickey James. WrestleManiacs with Waylon and Tyler, a weekly wrestling show regarding breaking down WWE news. Now, Waylon would like for you to check out some other amazing people, and their links will be in the description. Catherine Norland. She's an inspirational person who does Sunday Lives on her YouTube channel and talks greatly about God, our Father. Rainy Vacation, a small music group from northwestern Pennsylvania created by Sean and Nathan. Ox Films, a production company run by actor Richard Ryan. He's an amazing guy, and some of his hit movies were Art of Deception, Fortune 500 Man, and Natural Demise. Richard has been working hard and will be bringing out more, including new music of his own. Visit www.oxfilms.us and follow him on Instagram at RichardRyan7. Once again, Ox Films, check it out and watch the films on his website. Ace Hire, and a musician and content creator named Austin Sire. Austin does amazing content and music. He's a very talented person, and Waylon loves his work. Follow the show on social media. On Facebook, Waylon Myers Podcast. On Instagram, Waylon Myers Podcast. On TikTok, Waylon Myers Podcast. And on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Waylon Myers. Thank you, Tyler, for being back on Standing Strong in a different way. And now back to the episode. We are back on Standing Strong. I hope you're enjoying Toni Torres' interview on Standing Strong. Toni, how is your experience like on my talk show so far?
Oh, it's great. I think you have a great personality. You're thoughtful. Great questions. Yeah, I'm having a great time. Thank you for having me, Waylon.
You're very welcome. And now, you have played in a lot of the Dhar Mann YouTube videos, which, by the way, I loved every episode you were in.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Whether it was being homeless, being a boss, playing the bad guy, a teacher, and so much more. What has been your proudest accomplishment working in Dhar Mann's studios?
I played Miss Honey. She was the teacher of a dyslexic boy who had other incredible talents. And when I was a child, I am dyslexic. Mm-hmm. And as a child, I didn't do well in school. I was terribly misunderstood. There was no understanding of dyslexia back then. And so there was no course correction or intervention classes for students who had dyslexia. And I knew that there was something different about my brain, but I obviously didn't know what. And I spent a lot of time thinking about like what I would like to say to my teachers about what I needed versus what I got, and how I wished somebody would have stood up for me. And then miraculously, I ended up being offered this role where I got to say things. So that was really cool. And I kind of like secretly dreamed that someday some teacher will play this in their classroom, so that the kids who don't have dyslexia will like understand the kids who do. And like, that makes me really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, teacher gives last dollar to help kids, and homeless mom collects cans for cats were two of my favorites. By the way, good job on those.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Which was your all-time favorite episode you have done?
I think the one with Miss Honey is my favorite, but Mom Collects Cans, Homeless Mom Collects Cans, that's like almost a tie. That was one of my first episodes. Catherine and I think we just had great chemistry together. I think it was a really important episode. I really loved that character and that role, and I loved playing Angelique's mom. Those were both one of my favorites. Why were those your favorites?
Because it was just something special to watch with the video with Aiden and Catherine and you, and at the end where you guys go out for pizza. It just wasn't. It was a good storytelling. Aiden was not nasty to you at first, but then Catherine talked sense into him, and then he came back and gave you his bottle. It was just a nice storytelling, and it just clicked to be one of my favorites.
And why did you love the teacher gives last dollar to help student? Why did you love that one? I mean,
because it was a kind gesture, and no matter that you was struggling with buying your stuff that you couldn't afford, and you had just money to buy for the kids, you choose the kids over what you couldn't buy. So that just was an incredible episode. I loved it. So, yeah, every other episodes you have done, I love them. So, especially the one with you and you losing your husband when Angela was your doctor, and they wanted you to come back to the business, but you didn't know at the time because you was pregnant, and then Angela talked you into doing it, and you opened back the company, and everyone loved it. So that was one of my favorite ones too. So keep doing an awesome job. You are truly inspiring.
Thank you. I love working on videos that have such sweet stories. There's enough hardship in the world. I love watching people win.
Yeah, absolutely. I love them. Dhar Mann is such an awesome guy. His videos are so inspiring.
Yeah.
So. Now, is there any other Dhar Mann episode that you have not done but is one of your favorite?
That I have not done? Oh my goodness. I didn't know this was going to be one of the questions. I think Catherine and Rebecca just did an episode where one of the kids didn't get invited to the party because they were having competition stuff.
Yeah.
And then the parents started contributing to competition stuff, and Catherine stands up for herself. I wish if I had known you were going to ask me this question, I would have gotten all the details down. But I love lately they were so serious. Dhar Mann's been around for probably 6 or 7 years now, I think. Mm-hmm. And they were so serious for so long, and recently they've been playing with the comedy, which I think is great because people will sit down and really watch something if they're going to also laugh. And that episode, everything that I love, the kids, doing their best and so cute, and it taught a valuable lesson about love over competition and telling people how you feel so that you're not making assumptions. But yeah, it was really cute and sweet and had like nice upbeat music, and I really had a good time watching that one.
Yeah, that was one of the good ones too. Rebecca did an awesome job too. Yeah. I love Rebecca. She's an inspirational too. Whether she's playing the good guy or the bad guy, she does an amazing job.
She does. She does.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, did you face or witness bullying in your life? And how did you overcome it? And what advice would you give to help others and knowing they can overcome it as well?
That's a tough question. I received a lot of bullying when I was a kid. My my parents were really, really tough people. Yeah, they were really tough people. So the home life alone was quite a bit of a bullying situation. And I think because of that, I was like under socialized or mis-socialized, kind of weird in public. And I was weird at school. So I got bullied a lot, and I had holes in my shoes and holes in my clothes, and in a poor neighborhood, I think in any neighborhood, but I don't have any experience of being in a wealthy neighborhood as a kid, but as a poor neighborhood, like presenting sort of like an image is really, because no one's really safe,
Right,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I had the poor clothes, I had dyslexia, ADHD, I had a weird personality from being, to put it bluntly, abused as a child. And so, yeah, it was always bullying. And I'm kind of a tough person, so I did stand up for myself a lot. And I think that helped my self-esteem. But I think that isn't necessarily everyone. Not everyone is good at that. And you can put yourself in a dangerous situation sometimes by standing up for yourself. So, well, I feel a little overwhelmed answering this question. I would say to really spend as much time as you can, like falling deeply, deeply in love with yourself,
Yeah.
Being proud of what makes you so different that you stand out, because being like everybody else isn't interesting. It's
right,
not
absolutely.
What is marketable and saleable in life, and not to make us sound like commodities, but if I do for a moment, what is truly marketable and sellable in life is something that is unique because it has something to offer. And if you're picked on, you're probably unique. And maybe you don't know how to get it out yet because you've always been picked on for it. So it's a little bit of I stuttered a little as a kid because I was so used to getting pushed around that I was like too timid to let it all out. But you're probably something real, real special in there. And I would spend a lot of time inside, getting to know who you are and being so unbelievably proud of what that is and knowing what that is and standing behind what that is, even if it's secretly, so that the mean things that people do aren't the only story that's being told about you. That deeper than that is the story of you celebrating you to such monumental lengths that they wash away in the background.
I love that. Very inspirational. Thank you for sharing what you did. Who or what inspires you to be your best no matter the negativity that comes your way?
My daughter. I want to be a mom that she's proud of. I want to be a person that she, if she doesn't choose to do what I do, it's because she chose to do something even better, but that I gave her a good choice, in all of my being. Yeah, I want to be the person that when I look through, I don't know, I'll never know truly how she feels about me, because kids and adults, people don't always aren't ever capable of fully communicating with another person. But through her eyes, I would like to see myself as somebody that I'm proud of.
Absolutely. I love that. Now,
and show her that it gets rough.
Yeah, it does.
We don't give up. We take a nap. We take a time out. We take a selfish day, eat all the chocolate, watch all the cartoons, stay under the covers, but we don't give up.
Absolutely. Yeah, never give up. Just continue doing what you love. So I love that. And now, mental health is a challenge to a lot of people, especially this time of the year.
Yeah.
What advice can you give to someone who might be struggling with their mental health?
So much. We'll see what I can get through and remember. But I think number one is to own it, right? Like, I've struggled with mental health my whole life, but like a lot of what they're telling us about who we should be and what we should be to be proud of it seems bogus to me. Absolute bogus to me. Like, for example, bipolar, right? Like, feeling of grandeur, up and down. Like, life is up and down. And you know who else felt grandeur? Martin Luther King, the Beatles, Einstein, right? So it's not about feeling grandeur. It's about checking it and making sure that you're not thinking or letting it get out of hand, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are little pieces of beauty in all of these little conditions that are hard to manage and stressful and maybe not so socially acceptable. But I think owning it, and like I said before, being proud of it and finding systems of coping and moving through life in a healthy way, even though your brain maybe doesn't work the way that is easy for like teachers to teach to. That is important. I think you know how they say you are what you eat?
Yeah.
I think a better way to put that is you are what you consume. So I know something that really helped me was like, I watched thousands of TED Talks or hundreds of TED Talks, and knowing what is, it's like stand-up comedy for innovation, if you will. And like knowing what the world is going to be soon instead of what it is now gave me a lot of relief in my mind and my emotions, to give me space to start like reorganizing myself in a way that I could handle throughout the world. There's so much information on different coping skills and different brain systems and neurological plasticity on TikTok and YouTube. So taking a stance on what you consume, right? It's easy to consume like gun shows, like from Mission Impossible to even Orange is the New Black, which has a lot of great themes. It can get to the point where all you're watching is people being hurt and betrayed every single day, all day. But if you take a stance on what is your consumer, you start to find health. And I think what we are is what we attract. So if you get better, you'll find better. That's what's been my experience. Yeah. And if you don't agree with me at all, that's okay. Like, agree with the most beautiful version of you and you'll be right.
Right, 100%. Thank you so much for your inspiring interview, Toni. At this time, I am going to give you the opportunity to ask me some questions.
Okay. Okay, if you could be one superhero, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To control time.
Wow.
So that you can have more time with your loved ones that has passed away.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And what is your big dream?
My big dream is not to be a big, famous YouTuber. I just would love if my talk show would just inspire people to know that their life is truly important and that they are not alone. I just want my talk show to change at least one person's life. Not that I want to be a big time hit online.
Well, you already inspired me, so.
Thank you.
And what, can I ask you a couple more questions?
Yeah, absolutely. However many you have.
What is your favorite memory? or the one you come up with now?
My favorite memory was back in 2012. I got to take my aunt, Janet, to WWE to meet Lillian Garcia with me. That was my all-time favorite moment because 2 years later, she died with colon cancer. So that will always be my favorite memory.
Oh.
I miss my Aunt Janet so much. She was someone I can always go to talk about WWE with. I just missed those days. So having her meet Lillian Garcia before she passed away, that was a great moment for me. She was really happy she got to meet Lillian.
I love that. Hi, Jan.
Thanks.
Wherever you are.
Thanks.
I've lost some people in my family too, and have you heard of the concept of quantum entanglement?
I have not.
So it's part of quantum physics, and it's the idea that whenever two atoms have ever been connected, there's a unifying force between them wherever they go. So I choose to believe that if I send someone that used to be here my love or a message, that they receive it in some way on whatever timeline or reality they're on. So I still talk to my people as if they're in the room with me. And if that brings you a possibility, cool. And if not, no worries. You don't have to believe what I believe.
Yeah. Nice. That's good. Everyone's different. Everyone who does what they love to do, that's all that matters. Everyone's different in their own ways.
It's true. But I'm glad you got to have, you said her name was Jan, right?
Janet.
Janet. I'm glad you got to have that moment with Janet. That's amazing.
Yep. I miss her. It's going on a decade now since she passed. So, yeah, a decade now.
Yeah.
So,
well.
Yep. I will always remember my time with her. Toni, is there any other questions you would like to ask? Or is this just a wrap it up thing?
I think we can wrap it up.
All right. At this time, everyone, I hope you all enjoy my 56th episode of Standing Strong with my special guest, Toni Torres. Toni, before I let you go, can you let people know where they can find you on social media so they can get connected with you?
I'm La Toni Torres on Instagram, and I'm Toni Torres at Live Forever Club on TikTok, and Toni Torres on Facebook.
All right, there you go, everyone. Get connected with Toni, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Until the 57th episode, I will catch you all later.
Bye. Have a great holiday and a great life.